It's a real privilege to be recording this video. As I stand here right now and having spent time and having been given the gift of reflection on where I've come from and what's occurred in the meantime as a result of making a big investment in me. And for whoever you are listening, I'm going to address this to Chris primarily, to Chris Joseph, as a message of thanks and deep gratitude. But I invite you, whoever you are listening, to not listen for me, to listen for yourself in my story, in my words, my struggles, my challenges, my revelations and transformations. Because when I think back to when Chris and I first connected, I recall the impact that the case studies, because this feels more than a testimonial, the case study videos of clients that Chris had already worked with and impacted really helped me to get over myself and get past the resistance of making a big investment in me. And going back to that first experience of Chris, right from the moment we first exchanged a few messages, he modeled for me really powerful leadership, and the way he prepared me or invited me to prepare for our call really does stand out. And that ripples through my whole experience with Chris, because he's always modeling what I would call quiet leadership. You've got this quieter, nurturing energy about you, Chris, that's not the in your face, rah, rah. Perhaps you might call it more alpha energy. The way that you model silence and wisdom, contemplation, slowing down, investing in yourself, investing in your family, what's important to you, in others. And the questions you ask and the space you get into to ask from, the way you prepare. Yeah, that first conversation we shared gave me all the value immediately. You know, I'd noticed you in Rich Litvin's community as someone who stood out, someone that was respected, someone that people referred to a lot. But in a way that you could see, it was obvious the power that you were yielding. So I'm super glad I followed my curiosity to connect with you at that time where I was looking for someone to support me, because when you're in business, we need spaces to have conversations that we're not having anywhere else, because we don't want to burden those closest to us with our issues and challenges, particularly when, like me, you're in a two-parent working family and your other half has got their stresses and challenges, and without you then coming and adding to them. And the nature of business is so different to being employed, because you have to be the one going out there creating the business and developing your skill of delivering it and looking after yourself. You've got to be the CEO, the employee, and take care of yourself and others. And that comes with a huge amount of uncertainty and ups and downs. And to be sharing all of that with someone who has a lot more certainty, relative certainty, can be quite unsettling. And also, as someone who wants to go down the path of intentionally creating their life and taking responsibility and creating a business and following their passions and loves, which is exactly how I feel about what I do, often it's difficult to go to the people that are close to you because you don't want advice. You don't want to be told what to do. You want to be given the space to figure things out for yourself and to be listened to. And in my experience, unless you've developed that as a skill, it's difficult to offer that in return. And that first conversation that Chris and I shared, the way that you provoked me, my thinking, by observing that using disco as part of my name, how that could be limiting me because it's one genre of music. How that then provoked me into being curious about that as a word in my name, which then led to me taking ownership of my identity, because one of my gifts has always been to be me and be very open with people. And whilst I'd realized that being Disco Dave felt true, I hadn't gone deep enough to realize why. And by then going and doing the work and learning that disco is Latin for I learn and I practice, that was such a mind-blowingly incredible holy shit moment, because I realized, well, of course that's me, because that's part of what I do. And then even going beyond that and discovering that Dave or David means beloved. So when I put the two together, I could see that my name represents for me learning to be loved, practicing love, being love, and supporting people with that. That has been truly revelationary and transformative for me in really owning who I am and how I show up. That's been one of the greatest gifts that you've given me. And even just the act of saying yes to working together the shift that I felt energetically, and even before I paid the money, I felt like I got all the value immediately, because it was as if I was making a statement to myself and the universe that I'm ready to commit to playing a bigger game. I'm ready to commit to being more impactful, stepping into my potential, be a leader, and be that way for others. And being able to stand in that power has been incredible. Like, the best way I've been able to describe it is landing in me landing in me, getting how powerful I am, getting how impactful I am and can be, and what I can create through that. That has been amazing. And even when I look at how things were, practically business-wise, I was 3 and a bit years into my coaching business. I was in this feast or famine cycle. My coaching income, I was barely making enough through it. I had other sources of income, but it was barely my main source of income. I was putting so much energy in and felt like at times I was getting very little back, or it would take so much input to create clients, to create business. I was surviving. I was in a needy place, scarce mindset. And I felt like I was letting my family down, because as a man in Western culture, I felt responsible, that I need to be the one that steps up, that provides. And I had a deep fear, and still do to a point, about losing the people closest to me, because I've lost the relationships with my family that I grew up with. All of our relationships have broken down over time. So carrying that weight of responsibility was incredibly challenging. And to have a space where I could be loved, not that I'm not loved, I have incredible support around me, but through you, Chris, and your group, and how you are and what you create and who you bring in, how you love, made me feel even more supported, and gave me the space to reveal how I've been holding myself back, to reveal how I could create the business that I really wanted to create, which then allows me to create the life that I want to create for me and my family. And to have the space to be heard and not judged, and share how I was feeling, the shame that I was feeling around not feeling like I'd made much progress in 3 years, after having tried all sorts of different methods to create the business, even going to the extreme of creating another business to feel like I'm not in it on my own, that ultimately distracted me from creating the business that I really wanted to create. Have that space to learn. Yeah, what a gift that has been, because this year, this calendar year. It's a beautiful time of year to be doing this because I've been able to reflect on the calendar year and see that my coaching income is up 300%. And it is firmly my main source of income now. Not only that, and we're not even at and I look at just the financial year from April to now. So that has scope to go higher. There's more potential business to come in the new year. But to know that I've been able to create that and take more time off is incredible. I was able to comfortably take 5 weeks off this summer and have a great time, an amazing time with my family. And not only stand in my power and realize who I can be and what I can create, but to truly believe in a whole new set of possibilities around what I can create. To go from making relatively small 4-figure proposals, and even at times the way I would work with clients would be on an ongoing basis, but open-ended contracts, and feeling the pain of that when they suddenly came to an end. So one in particular did. To establishing and setting up my business in a way where I moved away from that feast or famine. I've been able to realize that I would get distracted by opportunities, and that would, through that distraction and that belief that they would then turn into business, when in reality, I've still had much more work to do. And that was causing these cycles. I was able to get an experience that showed me the importance of being consistent and consistently connecting, consistently creating in a way that felt good for me, not just me piling loads of energy and time and effort into connecting with potential clients or just connecting with people and then burning myself out, and or creating a bunch of opportunities that ultimately didn't come off, and then having not continued to do the work to create more. To be in this space where I have far more time for me, for my clients, time to be creative. It's amazing to be in this space and know how much more I can still create. And to look back on some of the other wonderful insights. One of the biggest being, and one of the best practices, most impactful practices, taking on someone that you introduced me to, Dan Sullivan's idea of focusing on one thing at a time and stripping everything back. That has been absolutely key in me getting to this point of feeling in flow. And I will be forever grateful for that one time where we met in person at the Ultimate Coach Experience in London at the end of April 2022. And I shared with you this struggle I was having around an old nickname that I'd been given a long, long time ago, and felt as though I needed to own my story around it, but didn't know how, because that nickname is so derogatory and not me. And some of my friends still call me this, which is Pervy Dave. And it's never felt like me, but I felt like I had to own it at the time because I'd been called this behind my back for 2 or 3 months. And then all of a sudden it came out, and I didn't know what else to do, but just take ownership of that, to feel safe and to feel part of this group of friends. But now feeling like, or at that point, feeling like I don't know how to tell that story because of the, the way the world's changed, the We Too movement, and what you said to me was so empowering and impactful. When you said to me that words are a gift and we can either take them or give them back. So simple, so powerful. And even today, I was able to pass that on to a client who was so grateful because of challenges that they face in their relationships. To know that I could just give that back. And it doesn't need to be anything more than that. Because it's not me, it's never been me. I am so thankful and grateful. So yeah, thank you. As I say with clients often, arigato, which literally means thank you for doing the difficult, the impossible things. Thank you for doing that regularly. Thank you for listening. It is a real privilege and gift to be able to share this and to feel the progress that I've made, to feel that the investment has been so worth it, because not only has it paid me back till today, it will continue to compound as I move forwards. And I will remember that. And I'll finish on this insight that through our work, I had a realization about the nature of coaching, that coaching, powerful coaching as a process, is about revealing and remembering. You've helped me to reveal myself, to reveal how I've held myself back, and to remember who I've always been, and to continue to remember who I want to be and what I want to create and what's really possible for me and my family and the people I care about and the people that I have the privilege, the deep, wonderful privilege to serve and support as I continue to be Disco Dave and own it and support others with their issues. In fact, one other thing I'll add that has been super powerful as well, that I'm just remembering in the moment, is this idea of triads that you introduced. And in realizing that, the three elements that make up me and what I do, being music, coaching, deep coaching, and being me. And then even going beyond that and realizing that each triad represents, for music, love, connection, creativity. Coaching representing adventure, purpose, and possibility. And me representing energy, positivity, and ownership of my identity, has given me this incredible lens to look through, because I'm able in my work now to see and notice where people lack love and connection and purpose and possibility and adventure and creativity and ownership of their identity and so on. And I can see how I can best serve them. And what a wonderful gift that has been. So, arigato to you, Chris, to you, the listener. And I hope you continue to create magic with each word and step that you take. Sending All my love. Thank you.